City after a deputy shot and killed a man while serving a search warrant. The sheriff gave an update in the last hour, and Eugene Daniel is live with what we've learned.
Yeah, Janet, the Pasquotank Sheriff, Tommy Wooten, confirmed today that a person had been shot and killed in Elizabeth City. This was as a search warrant was being served to that person. He identified that man as Andrew Brown Jr. However, he did not have an age for Mr. Brown Jr. When I asked earlier today, there's still a lot of questions regarding exactly what led into it, but what we do know is that there is body cam footage, although the sheriff said that he had not seen it. As of the time of the press conference earlier today, the officer involved is on administrative leave, and this is now being investigated by the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigations. The sheriff and the district attorney both said that they are not going to rush within this investigation. They say they will be transparent. However, they want to take the time necessary to get out the appropriate information, and he said all of those questions will be that people are asking will eventually come out. Here's what he had to say as well.
It is tremendously early in this investigation, but all these questions you're asking, and I know you want all the answers to them, but they will come out. They will come out.
And there you heard from him again. Still a lot of questions that have still not been answered. He said that the department has had body cameras for roughly a year. They will be looking over that and getting that information out as the investigation unfolds. We're still trying to get more information about the person who was killed and exactly what led into it. Reporting live in Elizabeth City. Back to you all.
All right, Eugene, thank you. We'll follow the...
Let's talk basketball. Jeff Bum ass looks like you should sit in a fucking bench. Y'all should not be serving if y'all looking do us like this. If y'all gonna be scared enough to shoot somebody in their own car, you should not be wearing a fucking badge. You should not be wearing a badge. If you are that scared, you should not be wearing a badge. Facts. Get the fuck out of here, yo. You might want to fucking different county, nigga. Go to a whole different universe, stupid. If you are not here to protect and serve the citizens, you should not be wearing that badge. I went to school with you. You should not be wearing that badge if you are not here to protect these.
I mean, let's make this clear. Why is this man still on the ground? Like, why is he still on the ground? Get him off of the ground. Take him to the hospital. Take him somewhere. Get his body off that ground. Like, that's crazy. Right.
Shut the fuck up. Now we telling you. Shut the fuck up. Y'all the wrong for this. That man didn't get his due process.
Get that man off the ground, yo.
Trying to say that man had a gun and y'all are lying. Why are y'all telling these lies? Why are y'all telling these fictitious ass stories? Y'all do know we have an eyewitness. Y'all do know that, right? That's why I know he became a cop. Y'all do know that, right? There was somebody that seen this shit. We know you are lying about the gun.
Oh, yeah, the white lady saw everything.
We know y'all been lying about the gun. Right here, so what do you do now? When you ask the lieutenant questions or whatever, I tell you, they pull your ass over, they ask you whatever question they want to ask you, they disrespect you, but you can't even ask the questions over.
This is where the Pasquotank Sheriff's Office is investigating an officer-involved shooting. Officials tell us a deputy shot and killed a man this morning. 10 on your side's Jason Marks is there right now with the latest details for us. Jason, what have you learned?
And we're on Roanoke Avenue. It's a very intense situation. There's literally a police line tape. Let me step out of the way. We're back from the scene a little bit because it's very tense right now between the community and officers, as you can imagine. You see the police line right there. Now, if you look back further in the distance, you'll see a tent, the blue tent. I don't know if Kevin can see it from back there. That tent is where the man was killed. We're told that deputies came here this morning around 8:30 to serve a warrant. We don't know what that warrant was for yet. It was some sort of search warrant. At some point, a man whose family identifies as Andrew Brown got into his car. He lives right on this street, started to drive away, and that's when shots were fired by a deputy. Andrew Brown was killed here at the scene around 8:30. Neighbors tell us that they heard anywhere between 6 and 8 shots. Obviously, in the wake of police-involved shootings and what happened yesterday in Minnesota, and when you talk about police-involved shootings, it's a very intense situation because people here want to know exactly what happened. Joining me now is Keith Rivers, who is the president of the Pasquotank County NAACP. And Keith, obviously, you said you were cutting grass this morning. You heard what happened. Why did you come down here right away?
Well, first of all, in the light of everything that's going on in America with the shooting of unarmed black men, I came down to assess the situation, to find out, to make sure that the facts are clearly disseminated, to ensure that as we speak to the Sheriff's Department, the county commissioners, that they release information. If the Sheriff's Department was wearing their body cameras, if the body cameras were on, that information needs to be disseminated as quickly as possible in order to make sure that justice is served. And also, if there was any wrongdoing, the community has a right to know. You know, Dr. Martin Luther King once said that riots are the language of the unheard. And the longer we hold critical information, the longer that information, the longer that it goes without that information being disseminated, creates and adds to an intense situation that we as a community must step in, ensure that our children stay safe, the people stay safe, businesses stay safe, and that justice occurs.
And you can clearly hear the frustration from here. I mean, obviously, when you walk up there, it's very, very intense, but you can hear the shouting from back here.
Well, and that's justifiable. You know, it wasn't until I got here that they even came out and talked to the family. The demeanor, first of all, is also like we're in riot mode. You have family members who came up. The sheriff has not spoken to anyone out here. And this is to be said, this is not the Elizabeth City Police Department. This is the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department. You know, the sheriff needs to address these people. The sheriff needs to talk to community leaders to let us know what is going on so that we can be a part of this process to ensure that accountability is held in Minnesota. That was not police reform, that was accountability. And in Pasquotank County, we have to make sure that accountability is being held, but at the same time that we are ensuring the safety of our community.
Keith, thank you so much. Obviously, lots of unanswered questions, I know, for you and the rest of the community. Once again, deputies are out here. We know the State Bureau of Investigation, they're out here. They'll be investigating. They'll take the lead on this case, trying to figure out exactly what happened. We do know that a deputy, we don't know where that deputy, what department that deputy's from. We do know that a deputy shot and killed a man this morning, serving a search warrant here in Elizabeth City. I can tell you the Elizabeth City City Council has called an emergency meeting tonight at 6 o'clock. They want to hear from the sheriff. They also want to hear from other officials to try to figure out exactly what happened out here this morning. We'll have another live look coming up for you in a half an hour. But for now, that's the latest live in Elizabeth City. Jason Marks, 10 on your side.
Today, this started at approximately 8:30 a.m. during a search warrant at 421 Third Street by Pasquotank County Sheriff's deputies. Andrew Brown Jr. was fatally wounded during this search warrant. The North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, an outside agency, was immediately contacted and is conducting this investigation. The Sheriff's Office has complete trust in the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation and its ability to complete this investigation. The Sheriff's Office will be transparent and take the proper actions based on the findings of the SBI's investigation. I have put together a team of local law enforcement to come to Pasquotank County to ensure the safety and protection of the citizens in our community.
The SBI was requested by the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Office this morning, immediately after an incident in which officers of the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Office or deputies were involved in the shooting. The SBI agents in our district deployed immediately and began conducting interviews. We will conduct a thorough and complete investigation utilizing all available resources. Our agents are fact finders, and at which time all interviews and casework are completed. We'll turn our findings and our case file over to the District Attorney, Womble, at which time he'll make a determination about any criminal charges. It's very early in the investigation, so we will not be able to answer any questions about any of the details involved in this case. Thank you.
We do have body camera sheets, and they were active.
When we see situations like this play out in other jurisdictions, sometimes the police are very proactive in wanting to show that to the public. Is there a reason you're not able to do that?
We are currently working that right now as hard as we can, yes. We will be transparent with this situation, absolutely. We will.
Can you confirm that this was part of the drug task force here in the Northeast North Carolina, that they were serving a drug warrant or a search warrant for drugs or something like that?
What I can confirm is this was a search warrant. This was a search warrant that was being